As you know, I've been staying with my parents for quite a while now, ever since my encounter with the cameraman. Sleeping in my old room did bring back happy memories, enough to block out my paranoia. Even though I wished that it was over, I still took extra precautions. I moved my bookcase in front of my bedroom window. I tried my best not to go outside, only if I ultimately had to. Hell, I barely even used the computer. I was still shell-shocked from the messages and that cursed website. I've been replaying the events that passed in my head over and over. It even got to the point where I thought I had dreamt the whole thing up. If that were the case, though, that would mean I had been asleep for days. Also, the text message, "Get the camera," my only answer to escaping him, has been plaguing my mind for a couple of weeks. I was thinking that the creature, or whatever it was, had just moved on, found another person to torment. Finally, my mother forced me out of my old room and demanded I go into town to pick up some groceries. Understanding her distress, I agreed, though I wasn't happy about it. I even hesitated as I gripped the knob of the front door, thinking that the cameraman would be right on the other side. Even in broad daylight, I stalled. I eventually opened the door, and of course he wasn't there. Taking a deep breath, I charged out to the car and made my 15-minute commute to town. It was noon, and the closer I made it to town, the more people I could see. This put my heart at rest for the time being. Making my way to the county store, I didn't even check my surroundings for fear that he would be standing around, recording me. Like a horse with blinders, I marched into the store, grabbed some milk, eggs, bread, etc., and made my way back to the car. As I fumbled for my keys, I noticed a reflection in the car window. I nearly dropped everything and ran, but my body reflexed and I spun around. Nothing. I summed it up to my paranoia finally catching up with me. Though I maintained my wariness, I was extremely cautious on the drive back home. Making it back to the safety of my old room, I slumped in my chair, staring haphazardly at my desktop. I was so starved for social interaction, I just wanted to open my browser. But the fear in me barred my hand from my mouse. So I simply sat there and watched how the little clock on my monitor just kept ticking. Boredom is a powerful enemy, and after 2 hours of staring at that consistent digital clock, I clicked on the browser. The light that came from my monitor was bright and almost hurt my eyes. I felt so happy to be connected to people once again. I got on my instant messenger and found a couple of friends online. I even encountered a message when I first started up my messenger. Eagerly, I clicked open the message. But as I read it, my heart broke from the shock. James, my friend from way back, had messaged me a few days ago. The message was, "Have you ever heard of the cameraman?" My mind rushed back to the text I had sent out. James was online, so I messaged him, asking if he was alright. After a few hours of browsing the net, trying to keep my mind off things, I noticed James's reply. He said, "You die," and gave me a link. Now there was no way in hell I was about to click that link. It didn't look familiar, just a string of numbers. The sun was setting through the cracks in my window. I figured if this link could help me with my problem, I better click it before the darkness falls. I checked my surroundings once more, before I hesitantly clicked on the link. It opened a page that was unlike the previous ones. It appeared to be a live feed of something. The camera filled up the entire page, and it shone a few houses. Then, the camera rested upon one house in particular. I wasn't sure, but it started to move around the back of the house. It stopped at the side window. My heart was now on the verge of stopping. Slowly, I turned my head to the window, which was still blocked by my bookcase. Nothing. I was foolish to think that it was my house, when the cameraman was clearly tormenting James. I turned my focus back to the computer and noticed the camera in motion again. As it rounded the corner, the feed glitched and instantly became shrouded in darkness. I could barely make out what was in the frame. The camera light turned on, and the only thing in the frame was a wooden door. I was curious and horrified at the same time. I quickly opened the messenger and sent James a warning, telling him to get out now. This was too much. I knew I was asking for it with my constant search for the paranormal. I just wanted out. I began to think that my life will be filled with nothing but fear. As I tried to regain my senses, I noticed something odd about the camera feed. It was on a loop. Quickly, I realized that wasn't James's door. It was my door. I grabbed a bat I had near my bed and stared at my bedroom door. "You think you can trick me?" I thought as I held the handle. I ripped open the door, my bat, ready. Nothing was there. Suddenly, all the lights in my house went out. I stumbled backwards and noticed something. My computer was still on, with the camera feed still looping on an illuminated door. It couldn't have been my door since all the lights went out. I just noticed one more thing. My closet. I can see the light from the crack under the door. In a blind rage of fury and hopelessness, I tore open my closet door and threw my bat into the closet. Nothing was there. Well, I shouldn't say that. I noticed the camera sitting on the ground, angled up at the door. Picking it up, I heard my mother knocking on the door, asking if everything was all right. My mother opened the door to find me standing there, filming her. Say cheese, mother.